Welcome, my peeps, my peoples. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Be greatly appreciated, my peeps, my peoples. Let's talk about the challenge, season 32, the final reckoning, episode 17. It's going down. Like, what do you guys think about this episode? Is Johnny gonna get it? Is Nelson and Johnny gonna go in? Is he really gonna make Nelson's life miserable in the redemption house? And is he gonna have Kyle and Brad to help him? What's gonna go down? If Cam and Kaylee gonna get involved? And if Kaylee, is she gonna believe everything Johnny Banana says when we know that he be lying? So let's get started. Johnny Bananas and, Tony are outside. They're tanning. They're chilling. They're like, everything's all good. Everything is cool. They ain't got no problem because ain't nobody going to put them up to go into Armageddon because nobody really wants to face the toughest team because he believes they're the toughest team and nobody ain't going to want to go up against them. Is he sadly mistaken? Yes, he is. He's sadly mistaken. He thinks it's all good, but it ain't all good. And then, the whole crew, they go out, whatever, they chilling and everything. And then Marie, she decides, she decides that she needs to talk to, Ashley, Shane, and Sylvia, the Lavender ladies, because she needs to have a conversation with them because she wants to know where she stands, if she can kind of get back on their good side, and if she can not go in, because right now she has to do the politicking because Kara can't politic and Kara doesn't know how to politic, and right now Kara can't throw her weight around of being a veteran. She got no friends in the house like that, only Bananas and Marie. So the Lavender ladies say, you know what, Marie? You know what you can do for us? Act like we're going to send you in, that we're voting for you to go into Armageddon, and you pretend, play it like it is, and don't say nothing to anybody. Don't blow up the spot. Don't say anything. And I was surprised Marie was able to keep her mouth closed so long. And I was also surprised that Kara didn't run back to tell Johnny about the plan that was going on in the house with the Lavender ladies and the Young Buck crew. I was like, oh shit, Kara's finally playing the game, really like not running her mouth. And she realized that, Johnny and Tony are playing their own game, and she has to play her own game too as well because they're kind of like rogue. And even though they're cool, they're not going to throw each other in, but she don't need to mess up her situation because she doesn't want to go into Armageddon. She don't want to be going into that redemption house, not at all. So that's what it is. And then we get over there to the redemption house, and so for some odd reason we got Kaylee and we have Cam talking about Nelson. What would they do if Nelson came in the house to Brad and Kyle? Kyle was like, I would do this, I would do that. Brad was like, I'll torture him, he's gonna have to pay for what he did because he's a backstabbing snake. Kyle was like, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'm not messing with Nelson. And Nelson comes in the house later on. I'm like, damn, Nelson and Shane, what happened? What's going on? So we have that situation. Then we have this little saga between Bananas and Natalie. I don't know if they're playing this off because isn't it alleged that Natalie's gay? I mean, like, she's a lesbian. It didn't say that she was bisexual, but maybe Natalie is bisexual because it's not the reason why she's mad at Kaylee because she outed her. So what's going on? So why is she acting like she likes Bananas? Why is she acting like she likes Nelson or Hunter, unless she's just playing the game and that's what she's doing, and possibly she could be bisexual and not just a lesbian. So we have that situation. And then plus it was saying that Natalie was stalking Kara on the blogs. I don't know how true that is, but that was the word on the internet, vines. So we have that situation going on. And so I thought Natalie and Paulie was gonna clicking right in with Bananas and Tony, but it didn't happen that way because Natalie's holding back a little bit of grudge because she feels betrayed. She feels embarrassed that Bananas hooked up with Angela and left her all high and dry. And Bananas was like, you wasn't even in the house to even know what was going on, so how did you? It's not like you was there to see or witness it. So we have Natalie and Bananas, basically staying away from each other, not being cool with each other, and putting some distance between each other because of this little situation where they're acting like they're both, Natalie's trying to make Bananas jealous when she should just be focusing on the game, but she's doing what she's supposed to do. She's winning because when Paulie was focusing on, the Kara situation with Kyle, they end up losing. So let's just focus on the game. And so we have that situation, and Bananas thinks that Natalie's trying to make him jealous. And Natalie was like, I'm not going to be, Bananas pawn. I'm not going to listen to him anymore. I'm going to play this game the way I want to play this game. So, okay, do your thing. So it is what it is. And it seems like, Nelson is cool with Natalie again, even though they had that little situation where she sent him in when she was supposed to be cool with him. So we have that going on. So I was like, shit, it's crazy out here with them. So we have that little saga, and it's just like, okay, we don't. I can't even see Natalie and Bananas together anymore. But it seems like Banana cares. He cares because it's one more enemy and somebody he's supposed to be cool with, and then it's getting under his skin. Everything's getting under Banana's skin. He had Devin in that situation where he said something that he regretted about Devin's father, and having the whole house against him. Usually he's not used to that. You know what I mean? So he's feeling a certain type of way, especially when he was believing that Natalie was going to be one of his allies when she entered the house again after, coming back in from the redemption house, and then having her all smile up and, Hunter's and Nelson face makes him feel a certain type of way where, he don't want them to have the heads up on him. So, he's upset. He's upset. So his game is being affected by all the stuff that is going on. And too bad everybody in the house is not realizing that. But they get there. So then before you know it, we get TJ. TJ comes to the house. It's time to vote. And we already know Natalie and Paulie are safe. And they actually choose to vote for Sylvia and Gosh. They vote for them because, they believe that them two sent them into the redemption house. They had a part into it. So now I think the next time Natalie and Paulie vote, most likely they're going to vote for Gosh and Sylvia. But maybe not, because in Armageddon we see how Gosh and Sylvia actually, do really good. But unless somebody else get on the bad side of Paulie and Natalie right now, everything right now should be good for the rest of the house, except for, Gosh and Sylvia, because they voted for them. And so this is when Marie decides to tell Kara that, hey, listen, everybody is voting for Johnny and Tony to go win the house, and I had to keep it a secret. And Kara's like, I'm not gonna say nothing. And Kara is very surprised, and she's actually giving Marie her props, and she's thankful to have Marie as a partner now, because she can actually do the politicking, because she has a little lifeline, a little connection on with the Lavender ladies. So everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows what's up. But except for Tony and Johnny. They thinking they're safe. So this is totally a surprise to them too as well. So this is what shocks them too as well. That everybody is going to be voting for them, because they had no idea that they was all going to be voted in the house. And they knew that Natalie and Paulie was not going to vote for them. But they was, chilling, relaxing, and they didn't know it was going to go down like the way it did. And it definitely did go down like the way it did. I was just like, oh no. And so we do have a little touchy moment with Shane and Nelson, where Shane is actually coming to Nelson, telling him that he needs help. He's about to have a mental breakdown because all the bullshit that you've been doing, Shane, starting trouble, acting up, throwing challenges, calling people bitches, just acting a complete fool, and it's getting to you. You're breaking down because sooner or later people are going to start coming after you, and everything that you did is going to backfire and come to you, or you're having some type of epiphany that, damn, I've really been kind of like an asshole this season. So we have that situation. And so Nelson was like, you know what, I apologize, I'm not going to yell and scream at you. And he was like, sometimes I do feel bad, because I was like, damn, why did I yell at you, Shane? So Nelson is actually taking accountability for not being so nice to Shane. But Shane acts like he can take anything, because the way he be coming after people and taunting people and making fun of people, because he made fun of Kyle. He was at the Bananas. He came at Devon. So you think that Shane is pretty strong, and then he came after Marie too as well. And he's been going back and forth doing his bullshit. But he's actually having a breakdown. It's getting too much. So it kind of gives you an insight of the game, that even though they're in this house and we wonder why they make these mistakes and get into these relationships and get into these arguments, because they actually go kind of like, it seems like they go stir crazy in the house, because we're seeing Bananas and we're seeing Shane unravel. So that's kind of, it's like, okay, now you really get to see, like, it looks like it's fun and games. They got alcohol, they got food, they're on a challenge, they're on TV, they're doing the things that they love to do best. But it kind of goes stir crazy. So we have that situation. And so now it's time for them to go to Armageddon, and the votes are in. And Natalie and Paulie are safe. And guess what? Bananas and Tony are called down, and they're shocked. They're totally surprised. And they don't know what's going on. And they find out everybody voted for them except for Cara and Marie, and they're shocked, and it was like they're not surprised, but they're shocked, and they see who votes for them, and they're like, damn, it's like that, like, and they're kind of like, they don't know really what to do, like they really want to go after Shane and Nelson because that's the best thing to do, because and all of the Armageddon so far, and most of them, the Young Bucks and the Lavender Crew are actually going after the top dogs. They're not trying to go after the easier players anymore. But and I guess they were hoping, especially Cara was hoping that Tony and Bananas would actually pick Shane and Nelson and send them to the Redemption House, and then boom, they'd be on their way to the finish line, to the finals. And so, but it doesn't go down that way. It doesn't happen. They are smart. They are veterans, and you know what? The thing they want to do is stay in the house. So they choose Gosh and Sylvia. But everybody was ready to go in. And I guess they believed that Gosh and Sylvia was a weaker team than Nelson and, Shane. But if they knew what was going on in Shane's head, and Shane and, Nelson getting in the water would probably be weird, because they would have to communicate and work together. And, Nelson was getting frustrated, and Shane would be frustrated too if he was voted in, if he had to go down there. But, they didn't pick Shane and Nelson. And one of the reasons why they didn't pick Shane and Nelson, because it was like, if it's a water challenge, Shane is absolutely like a fish. He's a mermaid. Tony was like, he's a man-made, man-murd. So you have that situation. So they actually choose to go with Gosh and Sylvia. And basically they enter like a fish tank. There's some plaques on the bottom that are attached to something. You have to dive in the bottom, bring up the plaques, and then there's a little platform with a long little stick on it that floating on top of the water that doesn't have a steady foundation. It's like if you build a house on top of water. And so basically they have to build, all the way to the top of the little stick that's on the plaque. And they have to put all these plaques and build like, up, side, build like a house or whatever. And so, I have to stack these plaques up, and basically it has to last for like about 3 seconds. And so now we get them to go in the water. Sylvia doesn't know why she went in the water, because she's not that great of a diver or holding her breath underwater, but she actually gets the job done. Bananas goes under the water. He actually gets the job done. It's no problem. And then they collect all the plaques, and then Bananas is unfolding right here at this challenge where he's yelling, he's screaming, he's frustrated, he don't understand this, he's thinking that he had it in a bag because Tony does construction, but construction has nothing to do with this. And so Tony is shocked that Banana is unfolding, and it's making him nervous, it's making him scared, it's making him believe that they're gonna fail, because he has a champ, a leader, the guy that won the most challenges in history, out here panicking and letting loose, because he got all that negativity on his back. He got everybody rooting for him to fail, and he doesn't want to lose too as well, especially in this challenge, especially with everything going on that's been happening and the season. So he just cracked. So it shows you how even the toughest can fall apart. And Johnny Banana falls apart, can't get the job done. Sylvia, she's freezing, she can't get the job done. She's yelling at Gosh and telling him to be quiet. Shane is jumping in, yelling at Gosh, telling him let Sylvia do it. And Sylvia does it. She wins. They win. And Tony and Banana goes to the Redemption House. Everybody's clapping, dancing, and everything except for Natalie and Paulie, because right now they're trying to stay neutral. They don't want nobody to know exactly who their alliances are. It doesn't seem like they have an alliance. It seems like maybe their alliance is back over there at the Redemption House. So we have that situation go on, and it was like, damn, Bananas and Tony got beat by Gosh and Sylvia, especially Gosh. He's only been on this show twice, and Sylvia, she's been on this show twice or 3 times. Damn, they got beat by the newbies. It's like crazy. And and that's the worst thing ever, is to get beat by the newbies. Just like Natalie and Paulie beat Kyle and Brad, and Brad is a legend, not a legend, but he's notorious on the show and on the challenge. And Kyle, made it to the finals last season, and he's supposed to be really good. And they getting beat by people. So it kind of makes you seem like, damn, did we put a lot of hope in all these old school people? But it's all good. They served their purpose. They did their time. And right now they're still on the show. So it is what it is. I was just like, damn, they got beat. I was like, oh no. I was like, the house is going to get boring now. So they go to the So Johnny and Tony, they go to the redemption house. They go over there. They start shit, and Johnny said he was gonna start shit, and that's it. And basically, he went in there and he was like, "Yo, we got sent in. It's bad for business." Kyle and Brad is like, "What?" Cam and Kaylee was like, "What?" I'm like, "Damn!" Like they got they got the top players this season and the redemption house, some of the top players in the redemption house, and it's like it's gonna be hard for them to come back, but we learned 2 teams come back. Who are gonna be them 2 teams? Oh my goodness, it's just crazy because I want Cam and Kaylee to come back. I want Nelson and Nelson to come back, not really Shane. And then I want Bananas and Tony to come back too as well. And I want Brad to come back. I don't know, not Kyle. So it's gonna be up in the air who's come back, because it all depends on the individual challenge. What kind of challenge are they going to use? They're going to make something easy for Bananas and Tony to actually succeed to get back into the main house, because Johnny always caused the drama. So Johnny gets in there and was like, "Yo, we got sent back, we got beat," and they was talking about it. Then here goes Banana starting his trouble. He's like, "Oh, you wouldn't be so happy for Nelson," to Kaylee, that he's over there hooking up with Natalie. They was in a bed all night. I had to literally kick them out of my room. I didn't see that on the episode at all. Maybe there's something that's uncut that we don't know, or Johnny's just sitting up there flat ass lying to her to cause, to get her to break up her alliance with Nelson. That's true. And then also to mess with her head too as well, because they're all going to be fighting to get back into the main house. And Kim is like she's upset about it. She's like, it's not true, he's lying. And she's trying to tell Kaylee that I'll find out the truth, he's probably lying. And Kim is like, I don't need for Johnny to come in here and mess with Kaylee's head, because soon we're going to be in a challenge. We're going to be challenging each other pretty soon. So we have that situation. So that shit goes down, and Kyle's all happy. And Kyle was like, I hope, Kaylee can see the dirt bag and the snake that Nelson is. You are talking about yourself, Kyle. You've been a dirt bag. So moving on from that, so they're gone, everybody's happy. So now everybody's focusing on winning the next challenge. So now we got the next challenge. It's a Purge challenge, and we have the Purge challenge, and it ain't something simple. As these guys are going to be up in the air. I don't know if they're 20 feet up in the air or 10 feet up in the air, 15 feet in the air, and basically it's a log that's rolling, and there's 2 sides where you have the runner that's going to be running to the other side where their partner's at. Right there, you can see on the slide. And as the wheel is spinning, as the log is spinning, they have to run on that log and bring the flag to the other teammate, and they have to post the flag. So you bring in one flag to the next side, but you're hosted in the air and you're on a log that is actually rolling. So you actually really do need concentration, and you need to be, have balance too as well, and have steady feet, So we get to this challenge. It's a Purge challenge. Whoever loses, whoever gets the lowest score, the lowest time, is going strictly to the redemption house. And then it's also a fan participation type of activity. A fan, whoever wins, get a jersey signed by the teams. I was like, the fans want more than a goddamn jersey signed by the teams. Get them a hoodie signed by the team. At least give them $500, $600. MTV, give them $2,000. This is MTV. You got billions and billions of dollars. Forget you and your goddamn hoodie and the autographs. Give the fans some money for watching this show. Shit. So we have that situation go on, and we have Hunter and Ashley do an excellent job. He gets 6 flags on. He just messed up his concentration. He could have kept going, but he kind of messed up at the end. But he got 6 flags posted, so he did pretty well. Then you have Nelson and Shane. Nelson didn't get even halfway across the log, and he fell. So they're afraid that they're going to redemption house. They're crying. Not Nelson's crying, but Shane is crying. And then we have Sylvia and Gosh. It almost gets the flag to Sylvia, but Sylvia messes up because she didn't put her 2 feet on the log. So boom, it doesn't count. He falls. And I'm like, damn. And then we get to, Paulie. we get to Paulie and Natalie. They actually do good. They actually get 8 flags, and they did an excellent job. Concentration. They actually had a plan. They had a strategy where 2 people on the log at the same time is a bad thing. So they tried to work it out where she's on the log for a quick second, and she's not that close. That gives, Paulie enough time to maneuver back on the other side. And so they work together as a team. They get it done. And, Natalie and Paulie are showing us what they working with. They won 2 challenges back to back, and they're going to get a special advantage for the next challenge. So that's cool. That's good. Then we get Cara and we get Marie. Marie totally messed up. She didn't get a flag on. Boom. Cara falls. Marie messes up. It's over. And TJ lets us know who wins. And he was disgusted at the teams too as well. He was like, these guys the 3 teams that pretty sucked the most. And they was like, come on, TJ. TJ hates when they can't complete a challenge or get anything done. And it was a majority, 3 teams. And so it comes down to Hunter and Paulie actually wins. And then that's when Nelson and Shayna sent to the Redemption House. And they get sent to the Redemption House, and they still talk. And at the Redemption House, Kyle and Brad are talking to, Cam and Kaylee about, the situation about Nelson being a scumbag because they want to turn her away from him. And then plus they want to mess with their minds mentally because they are a team to be reckoned with. So when we go to the double cross, they'll mess up, they or whatever. And the plus, if they get the double cross, they want to be picked too as well. So here comes Shane and Nelson into the house. Nelson's like, I'm just so happy I'm here because I can see my girl or whatever. So it's all good. So he walks in the house. He walks right into Kaylee and Cam room where Brad is at. Kyle is in the doorway. He comes in. He was like, what's up? And then that's when Kaylee was like, oh, did you mess around with Natalie? Did you do something with Natalie or whatever? And it's like she didn't handle the situation like a grown woman. What she should have did was like, Nelson, let's go outside and talk. Nelson, let's talk privately. And she should have said to Nelson, hey, listen, Johnny came in here and he said that you did this and you was in a bed with Natalie and a third. What happened. And then instead of being accusatory or putting on a big show and making it even worse for herself and for Nelson and Shane, she totally acts like a little girl with the situation. And Nelson could have handled it better with like, come on, if anybody told you anything, it's a lie. Everything's a dead up lie. And so then, she's asking him this question. He was like, nah, what did you hear? Who told you that? When you say, what did you hear? Who told you what? People assume that you're guilty. So he should have said, I didn't do anything. Everything is a lie. He shouldn't have said, who told you this? Or what did you hear? He should have just automatically said everything's a lie. And so they're laughing, and Kim is like, now you can get the questions that you want. Kaya runs, he goes get, Banana comes. Banana's like, yeah, you did it. You was in the bed with, Natalie. And Johnny says that he's going to make, Nelson and Shane life like hell in the Redemption House. And he does have help because he has Brad and Kyle, but they better be wise who they make enemies with, because if you pick the double cross, you want to be the team that you are picked. So it seems like if Kyle and Brad get the double cross, it seems like they're gonna pick Johnny and Kyle. And if Nelson gets his double cross, it seems like they're gonna pick Cam and Natalie if they don't start this big fight with them. And if Cam and Kaylee get the double cross, they can pick Shane and Nelson. But if we don't know if they're going to actually be combative towards each other, Nelson and, Cam, and then they don't pick them, then that'll be like, that's a double chance for Kyle and, Brad, and also, Bananas, and actually, Tony, if, Nelson might pick them or Cam might pick them. And then, Kyle and Tony and Bananas are going to pick each other. But the wise thing to do is to pick the weaker team to come back to the house with you. Because if I was, Johnny Bananas or Tony, I wouldn't pick, Kyle or, you know, Kaya or Brad or Nelson or Shane to come back into the house if I pick the double cross, because that's a team I'm going to have to face too as well. But on the same token, Bananas and Tony do need allies too as well, so that's why they will probably bring them back. But if I was Kyle and I was, you know, Brad, I wouldn't pick Johnny or Tony to come back in the house, or Nelson or Shane. I would pick, you know, Cam and Kaylee to come back into the house, but they need allies too as well. So like, I wouldn't pick a team that can actually demolish me, but then you're coming back to a house where, you know, you got the Lavender Ladies, and it's not that big no more, because the Lavender Ladies, they're gonna have to go against themselves anyways, you know, and they don't have Shane anymore. So we'll see what happens with that situation. But, you know, and the Lavender Ladies alliance is not as strong, because you also have Paulie and you have Natalie. So if Kyle and, you know, Brad come back in the house and they bring Cam and Kaylee, they at least have somebody that won't throw them in right away and kind of get rid of the Lavender Ladies, because that's what Cam and Kyle and Brad will probably do when they enter back into the house and team up with Paulie and Natalie. And we know Cam and Kaylee are going to team up with Paulie and Natalie unless something changes. But I thought Natalie and Bananas was going to be cool, but it didn't work out that way. Peace. I'm out. One love. You guys tell me what you think about the episode. Who do you think is going to leave the Redemption House? What two teams are going to go back into the house? Peace. I'm out. One love. And I was just hoping that with the challenge with Johnny and Tony, that they was going to bring in the mercenaries, but they didn't. Peace. I'm out. One love.